It's day 14 of the DRose sneaker challenge, baby. That means we're going to get into review right now. So in deciding what shoe I was going to review today, I figured, in honor of Club 520 podcast interview with DRose, I figured we'd, do a shoe that matches the outfit he had on today. And so with that being said, I figured we'd take a look at the DRose 3 in the Bears colorway. Now, for the people who have been on my channel for a long time, you guys know that I've reviewed this shoe, I think, twice or so at this point. But, every time I look at this shoe again, man, it's just a trip back down memory lane, because the Rose 3s, there's a lot of different things that this shoe has memories with and represents for me, in terms of, the time of my life I was in, but also I think in terms of a transition with a Derek and Adidas, going from just being, the smaller shoe line that he had with them to this full brand with his own logo and all the whole launch of like the Rose line and stuff. And there's a lot of cool stuff that went on with that, man. And so I figured, why not take a look at a shoe that wasn't ever officially released, that I don't think they were actually supposed to be able to release, but dropped at some outlets there. And also too, it kind of helps, it coincides with the podcast today. But we'll talk more about the podcast later, because there's some cool things in that I think I would like to talk with you guys about in this review. But I'd like to just first dig into the Rose 3s. So looking at the Rose 3s, guys, man, like I said, this is the first shoe in the DRose line that had the DRose logo on it. So, on the tongue here, in this 3M reflective, you have the DRose logo, and then below that you have the Rose logo that they used prior with the 3 stripes for the E, which I think is pretty cool. The Adidas branding now for the shoe is featured prominently back on the heel. You of course have the 3 stripes on the sprint frame. And that's the last thing you see, as DRose blows past you. But on this pair, you had the 3 stripes go throughout the entire length of the outsole, which is pretty cool. So that, no matter where you look at on the outsole, you're just seeing those 3 stripes as well too. Something else here you see is the Adidas logo here up on the toe box as well. And this material for this upper is super shiny reflective. It gives this almost patent leather look to it, but it is a synthetic leather upper that is mixed with a sprint web upper. So the sprint web is the piece that you can see layered underneath this. That's be breathable and make the shoe lightweight. And then the synthetic leather is what they have layered on top of that there. On the heel, and the ankle collar itself, these little ankle pillows right here are geo-fit, and that's just to give the shoe a nice conforming fit to be around your ankle. The Rose 4s, like the Rose 2.5s that came out actually prior to the 3s, of course, the geo-fit collar on there and those ankle pillows were super plush, and these ones were a little bit thinner, but I mean, they still kind of do the trick. Again, when you're wearing these and running with the speed wrap versus wearing them without speed wrap, you don't really feel much of that anyway, so you don't get all the full benefit of that. But the additional padding here is definitely something that I do welcome. So I always talked about some of it, but tech spec wise in the shoe, sprint web upper, sprint frame. You have the EVA midsole, nothing special, wasn't, Adiprene, wasn't Bounce. Well, Bounce wasn't even out yet, and neither was Boost at this time. So, something that's a little bit different. What you do have here in the midsole, though, was a little cutout for the Adidas MyCell, which is a little chip that you could put in to track, your progress as you're working out and doing, it basically was like the Adidas version of the Nike Plus. But, this is something that they implemented that was available in the 2.5s, 3.5s, 4, and 4.5s, and after that, it was no longer support in the shoe. And basically, all it is that you would go in here and you'd pop out the insole itself, and then inside the the footbed was a place where you could slide out this piece, and there's a little plastic puck, or sorry, foam puck in here that you could take out, and then put the actual speed cell in there instead. But the Rose 3.2 I think had a lot of just dope colorways, and in this one, of course, is another one of those dope ones because it is for the Chicago Bears. And they did release, on the website and on a lot of places, the apparel for it. So this shirt was actually the Bears shirt that's supposed to go with them. You had the Bears socks, which you can see when I do on feet footage, and you also had shorts that came out as well too. There was a Rose 1.5 that was a Bears colorway that never actually saw release. People like my buddy Vanessa, he actually I think has maybe posted one this month, and so if he did, I'll share that on IG so you guys can kind of watch this video and see. He's been doing the DRose sneaker challenge as well every day, posting something. Love seeing your stuff, man. Please keep it up. It's great to just see someone else participating in a way and showing off their kicks. He has a lot of heat and a lot of stuff that I don't have, which is I mean, I'd be a liar to say I'm not jealous. One other thing too that I thought was interesting about the threes, and I remember in terms of the storytelling stuff, the traction on this outsole, it runs a north to south pattern because Thibodeau, when was saying how he wants DRose to move on the floor, he wants him to go from north to south. He doesn't want him going from side to side, like, because it's quicker, way between 2 points to get the ball down the floor and to get movements across the court. So I think it's just something kind of interesting too. That's like along with the storytelling piece of the shoe. But with this colorway in particular, some of the cool things that you don't see unless you take a look at the pair itself is this call out here. It says founded in 1919. That's when the Bears were first founded as a team. That doesn't count when they were first from the NFL. I think that was the next year in 2020. Or sorry, 2020, 1920. But that's on this side. But then what I think is dope is that on the other side of the shoe, you have a football helmet, and the helmet has a DRose logo on it, and of course in Bears colorway still too. So again, just like I just think the nice little extra mile to go with this shoe to just tell some additional like bit of storytelling pieces to it. And the Rose 3s across the line I think did a great job with that. No matter what colorway it was, whether it's the Brendas, the alternate aways, the homes, the Fresh Prince pair, like the Michigan Avenues, the Nightmare Before Christmas, like, gosh, there's just so many really great colorways that came from that era of the Rose line and from the Rose 3s and even like the 3.5s that are still being like kind of called back to in certain colorways today. And I just, I love it. There is a pair of geeked up DRose 10s that I reviewed before that I kind of think also would fit as a Bears colorway because it's a similar color scheme and tone. But honestly, out of all of them, I think the 1.5 always holds a special place in my heart because they're so unattainable, and I've seen them online before, and sometimes I wish I just bought the pair just so I would have one, but I didn't. But the threes just got something, extra special to them, man, that I really like and dig. But I said, Club 520 did the podcast today, or they released the podcast today, and they filmed it back on the day where DRose was at the Bears game celebrating, his and, his son PJ's birthday. But something that I think was cool was there's a lot of cool insights into, his career and his time that he had, whether from all the way from, high school up into the league and stuff. And the two things that I thought were really cool are going to be pointed out to you guys at least are, well, actually, I guess I'll say three things that I think you guys should go check out to watch more in depth. And I'll go in a certain order. I'll start with number 3 for me is he talked about what DZ stands for, the DZY. A lot of people, I think were convinced, and even like myself included, that like that was mainly connected to the Kanye DRose collab that was going to come out, and because those are going to be called the DZ. But like in terms of like what Derek thinks about what that actually stands for, represents to him, I think it's really interesting, and I think that's something people should go check out. It's worth seeing. And the next thing I want to say is that why did he choose to retire? And I think that's really interesting from a standpoint of like, just if you think and hear what people are saying and you really kind of like listen in, you really can build not just empathy but also like a lot of understanding of stuff. And he basically talked about the fact that he was looking at how much PJ really is wanting to focus on basketball and stuff, and he wants to be able to be there for his son and spend the time working and training PJ and being able to pick him up from school, go to activities and stuff like that, instead of being focused on how many games they got this week in the season, training, rehabbing, all those sorts of things. And I thought that was really sweet because a lot of people gave Derek flat back when he was with the Bulls, and they took the quote and just completely like twisted it in such a negative way about how like he wants to be able to walk at like his son's graduation and stuff and not be hobbling around and walking around in a bunch of pain. And a lot of people took that and ran as him being soft and all sort of stuff, which obviously is not the case. But what I think is just really interesting about that is that he was saying that back then about PJ as to why like he was making some decisions with his career now, and to even see him do that with retiring here recently, that being the motivating factor behind it, I think it's really cool and dope, and I just love that. And then the thing that I will say for myself personally that I find super cool and that this really means a lot to me in like might be kind of a weird way, but like you guys got to understand like the way the world works and like energy is sort of things, and like and the way I see how God interacts with people and stuff in lives. He says that he wants to focus on becoming a director, and for me, guys, like my YouTube stuff, I started off doing because I wanted to become a film director as a kid. I went to school to study film and film production and to want to become a film director. And now, like, the full-time work I do, a lot of times I do get opportunities to direct a lot of the work I'm doing, but I'm either shooting it, editing it, producing it, and then, you know, when the opportunities arise, I am directing it. And then also too, like, on my own side business and stuff, I also am directing stuff, and I need to get back into writing and things like that, so I can have some new things to direct that are storytelling and stuff like that. And, you know, I think it's always been a dream of mine to want to be able to collab with Derek on some storytelling thing. And that's something that I thought, the first time I really had an inclination of that thought was back before the All-Star game in 2020. And, you know, it's just interesting to me to see where we're at now and see the stuff he's doing and stuff like that, and what he plans on wanting to do and where he plans on, like, going from here. And to me, that's just super exciting for him, because, I mean, I'm super excited for him, but I'm also excited for myself, because I feel like, you know, there's always been, for me, this type of, like, interest in, like, in bond I feel like I have with this person, in terms of, like, seeing someone that's, like, works real hard, striving for their goals, pushing, driving themselves every day to you know, to greater heights. And that inspired me as a young kid. And now as a young man who, like, you know, I'm in my career, I'm speaking to you know, to high school kids, college students, working on, you know, developing myself more and trying to get to where I want to go, to where I'm trying to head. Seeing DRose say that he wants to, you know, he's interested in doing the same thing I'm interested in doing, and, like, it just feels like the connectivity, the connective tissue there is just going to last, you know, in terms of, like, me being interested in seeing the new things he does and goes forward, you know, with things. So I don't know, it might be kind of weird to say it to some other people and stuff, but man, like, I just mean that as, you know, as genuinely as I possibly can. It'd be cool to really collab on something someday. And, you know, I believe in, you know, you gotta have an idea where you want to go, you know. And I have my goals when it comes to film and stuff like that. I know that's stuff I want to go to and achieve, but I also and find it cool that now there might be a place where that dream can intersect back with, you know, the inspiration that I've been given through DRose across the, you know, the span of my life. So yeah, I just find that super cool, man, for me. And, you know, thank you all for letting me share that with you, because for the people that stuck around to the end, you know, I appreciate that. You know, if y'all did stick around to the end, let me know. Leave a comment down below so I know that y'all really rocking with the boy. But yeah, I'm not going to really go too much into depth about the other stuff, because y'all should just go watch the pod. Club 520 podcast. It's honestly one of my favorite podcasts to watch, man. Like, I really need to go watch again one of their episodes, because I didn't realize, I was kind of scrolling through. I started watching just clips of them, like, ages ago, but then I realized, like, my cousin was on there for an episode, and so I really want to go see what he was saying and stuff. And I just love the way they talk and communicate and express, you know, their different thoughts and stuff going on in the league and other things like that. Like, it's really interesting, and I just really enjoy watching them. It's good entertainment, it's informative entertainment, and I think it's just a well-produced show. Like, it's cool to see, like, a well-produced podcast. I think is dope, and I just love seeing that for them. And then to have them do one with DRose recently too, man, that just solidified my love, man. I mean, my love was already there, but, you know, it is nice when something else kind of bring its way through, and you sit there and go, you know, I still can mess with that. I can still get behind that and rock with that. But yeah, man, I really appreciate y'all for continuing to support me and, you know, watch the videos and watch the reviews. Let me know what you think about the DRose 3 and the Bears colorway down in the comments below. Again, it's a classic DRose colorway that, like, when I think about shoes that, like, I really like the most, and colorways that were like this for the threes is just up there. And I think even when I did the event, when I did the event in Chicago for the All-Star game that year, this was the DRose 3 that I sent, because I was like, man, I mean, it's hard to beat this colorway, man. You know, so yeah, let me know what y'all think. Also, salute to the people who DM me asking for me to do, you know, some of the on-feed stuff, showing it with the speed wraps, because I hadn't been doing that. I've been taking the easy way out, so my bad, y'all. My apologies. But yeah, enjoy the review, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another one. Until then, peace. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye. Subscribe to our YouTube, Club 520. Yeah, we clown on them. Just hit the button. God damn it. Don't ask no more questions. Subscribe.